Liftoff of mission 41D, first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Hey, good morning to everybody out there. Bret here, Health and High Water Podcast. Tripp, what is going on, my friend?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh, this is going to be all in Spanish today.
Sí.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad to have you here. We've had some amazing guests lately. I hope you guys have gone back and listened to Dr. Eric Doringer. I hope you just caught our recent one with Catherine. What's Catherine's last name?
Amos something last name.
All right, Catherine from Through the Game. Go back and listen to that episode. Wonderful on mental health. It was incredible, her approach. And then there's also some great ones. There's intro to posture we did that's really fantastic. So there's a lot. So if you're catching up or you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're so glad to have you. We are owners of Ascend Performance Training, originally a personal training company that turned into genetic blood work, hormones, biomechanical assessment, and really honestly just a way for us to try to figure out how to get more comprehensive personalized supplementation, right? And so today's episode, I'm kind of digging right into it, Tripp. Today's episode is we wanted to discuss the idea behind this program. Number one, about personal training companies in general, and then what we're doing differently, getting into these programs that you've been writing. So you've been putting a lot of work into this programming, right?
Oh my! This is honestly like the template, and this is both of our life's work. Mm-hmm. You know, this is since the gym being 12, and I'm 32 now, 20 years of experience, and then adding your experience on top, you're talking about pretty much like, almost 3 decades worth of knowledge, as well as qualitative science information to add on top of that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at a point now in fitness and wellness that we have to realize what's going on, and there's change happening. It doesn't really matter where it is. I mean, these IV new places are popping up left and right because people are now supporting the hydration factor. Yeah. People are taking massage therapy and chiropractic more seriously than they ever have before. And people are also want to take their fitness and nutrition, supplementation, stress, sleep, what have you, and be able to qualitate it some way. Mm-hmm. Look how many people are frustrated with fitness right now that have no path. They look online and they find some personal trainer and they follow their Instagram. They start doing their workouts or whatnot. Then it doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to break that mold with using science, our experience, coming up with something truly unique with this this genetic programming that we're doing.
It's more than that too, though, because, I know you're doing qualitative stuff, and I know you're bringing in with these programs. I want to ask you some specific questions, like you have blood work and HDLs, LDLs, all the blood, the important stuff coming back from the blood panel. But you also have mind, body, and soul into these programs too. And sometimes those are really hard to have qualitative data as far as like somebody's mental health, right? But that's also a part of the program too.
Oh, exactly. And again, like you also have to think about, not just predispositions, but epigenetics. Some people that are predisposed to not be optimistic are optimistic. Mm-hmm. And there's environmental factors, the way you were raised. All these things go into those kind of things. But again, with these genetic tests, we're looking at predispositions. Like you are predisposed to not be happy. And if you're not a happy person, like we can refer you to someone like a psychiatrist, a social worker, and start getting you on that path. The thing is, these genetics give us a chance to talk about those things openly with some data behind it, right? So we're able to hit the spirituality. We're able to hit mentality as well as physicality, which you can't do at other gyms, other facilities because they don't even want to touch it.
Yeah.
And I think we're brave enough that listen, people are in need of help, and America especially has the worst health epidemic of its entirety.
Yeah.
So how do we make an impact? And what we're coming up with this program is it's already truly making an impact.
Yeah, I think so. People, I think, were apprehensive a slight bit with genetics because it's not fully developed, right? It's something it's a science that is totally rapidly developing now. Give me some insight and give the listeners a little bit of insight on this genetic test. You've done some short videos that are fantastic that people can go listen to these videos. They're about a minute long of you going through Gene Planet, our amazing partner company. Give a little background on where the science is at and what somebody can expect to get back from the genetic test as a foundation for building this program?
Well, the science, so again, I've been doing this for 7 years, and people who are just now listening to the podcast, just to let you know, I'm not just talking gibberish. I'm a ISSA certified genetic-based program designer, nutritionist, personal trainer, strength and conditioning specialist, and elite trainer. But where we're at with these tests, especially the past 7 years, is accuracy. Right now, we're not just testing for some of these traits, just one allele. We're testing 6, 7 alleles that all have scientific evidence and backing, making sure that these tests are extremely accurate. So the accuracy is there, and with this accuracy, we're able to come up with a full wellness program instead of just a workout or a diet that you're hoping someone will take. Mm-hmm. The idea here with what we're doing is a full wellness program, and meaning we work on lifestyle change. People that are frustrated with where they're at, we're going to give you a guide or a map to how you should attack these kind of problems with actual rational solutions instead of just gibble garble.
Yeah, instead of just let's throw this at. There's a part of this now. Also, there is precision supplementation. Tell me what that is.
Well, so this is actually one of the coolest parts of the genetic program that we're doing is we part of our program is we send you to go get blood work through Ageless, one of our partners. Shout out. They get your blood work done. We get a full panel that's lipids, vitamins and minerals, you name it, and then we're able to cross-reference it with your genetics. So let's say someone's taking vitamin D and they're predisposed to have a terrible metabolism of vitamin D in their genetics. Then I look at their blood work and I see that their vitamin D is on the lower end. It's like, all right, well, they probably don't get enough vitamin D. And the genetic test gets so accurate, it's like, well, what about skin health? It's like, all right, well, this person's predisposed for sunspots and melanoma. So she probably should not be getting her vitamin D from the sun, right? So we're able to target and pinpoint things and that accurately with the test and blood work.
That's huge. That's because that's the whole point of that's the definition of supplementation is why would you supplement something if you don't know if you so true. Yeah. And so that's what supplementation means is we're supplementing
for something we can't get out of food.
For something that we can't get out of food. So this is huge. How long is this program you've been working on? Number one, what was the impetus, like originally, what's the driver behind you wanting to get all this together? Thinking back to when you were 14, 15, 16 years old, your idea was, hey, the industry is crap. Like, what? Give me a little background on that.
Yeah, so I guess phase one was high school, learning how to program in general. Learning that. I really thought it was either the gym or nothing, though. I was very headstrong with that. It's like, you just got to be in the gym and just grind it out. And, that's part of learning with that kind of stuff. And then getting into college, I started realizing that most of my fraternity brothers I was writing programs for had issues in the kitchen. I was like, all right, so, it's about attacking issues. So it's like I added nutrition programming into my workout programs in college. And then when I, graduated college and started working for my brother, just genetic testing happened and that was the point I was like, well, now what? Programming can get hyper detailed now. So since then, that was 8 years ago, I've been trying to come up with something and, out of all of some of our best ideas come out of the biggest pressure. And we had a few days to write this program out and get it figured out. And it just kind of came to life. You know what I mean? I don't know if the pressure of having to do it was there or whatnot, but, about 7-8 years worth of work from that point, from, starting my professional career until now, and then adding your professionalism with your biometric assessment has been amazing because you're covering pretty much all the bases that you can cover in science right now.
It's fascinating. The more that we develop this program, the more I realize this hasn't been out there yet. Nobody's doing this level of, and just to go into depth, just to touch for the listeners too on the biomechanical assessment, we decided to add that. That was my realm. Noticing people have their hips aren't moving right, their knees aren't, maybe they're shifting their weight to their ankle on their left side, maybe their right shoulder is down a little bit because they broke their collarbone when they were 14, maybe their right trap had down, all these little things. What we also added to your program, this incredibly comprehensive program, is the biomechanical assessment. And that's really just the way that your body's moving. Some of it's epigenetics and some of it is genetics. Something like scoliosis is something I've seen a ton. those types of programs, and then some of it's epigenetics, like, hey, I fell when I was a kid, and so that's part of the assessment too. What kind of role does that play into this program from your perspective?
It plays one of the biggest portions. The skeletal system, the muscular system, tendons, all that play a part in making sure that you have a full wellness program. You're not going to get anywhere where you're injured, and you and I have a saying here. It's we rather prehab rather than rehab. Right, and that's kind of a heavy term right there. Is like we can figure out things before they happen, and using the biomechanical assessment, we can see things happening in real time that we can fix.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, well, we do know that you need to do a higher resistance training program, but you have weakness in your shoulder here, so we have to build a program around that. Again, customizing people's workout plans, making sure that we're dialing in on their individualistic issues and coming up with a practical solution for recovery, as well as making sure that they're hitting their goals.
Yeah. No, that's a fantastic point. Yeah, someone comes in with an injury, and they shouldn't be working out the same as somebody who doesn't have that.
Right.
It should be different movements, the goal-oriented. And some of these, so just wanted to go through real quickly a few of the types of things, because I always get people asking me, what comes back on this genetic test, right? Like, it's just hard it's not common knowledge right now about, hey, what is coming back? I'm just going to give it a quick rundown. For instance, perception of salty taste, copper metabolism, caffeine metabolism, your carbohydrates and blood lipids, your magnesium, ability to digest magnesium, how's your omega-3 metabolism, peanut allergies, vitamin B9, oxidative stress, selenium, vitamin D, adiponectin, alcohol addiction, insulin. So, and this goes on and on and on. C-reactive proteins or CRPs, blood sugar regulation, iron overload, satiated and hunger. So there's so much on these tests to build the foundation for it. You add in that, you're adding in the biomechanical assessment from me, you're taking the blood work from Ageless, and you get the full blood panel. We've gone through in depth about what comes back in the blood panel. What else? Mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, so basically at that point, the rest is the genetic test, putting it together, the wellness part of the program. It's like we add, cancer risk. It's like we can't tell you that you have cancer. That's impossible. But we can tell you you're predisposed for certain things, and you should probably get certain things checked out. So we make sure to add that in to make sure you know the severity of what can happen down the road. We add immune support systems too. It's like our test even has your susceptibility to HIV, your COVID susceptibility and degree of what you're going to get from COVID. I mean, those are all things too that the other people aren't thinking about that do play a direct part in being a healthy person, right? Like,
what's the process? No, total 100%. So you get mind, body, and soul. You get the immune system. What am I leaving out? You got your cancer risks or your predispositions, which, like you said, doesn't mean. I was kind of worried to get mine back, and it's totally normal, honestly, to be like, I don't know if I want to know what. Honestly, just from my perspective, there's nothing to worry about. It is what it is. It does not mean you're getting this. It just means oh, okay, I have some of this in my family history. Let me supplement. let me find things. Like for instance, let me give an example, like Alzheimer's or dementia. If you have dementia in your family history,
and you're predisposed.
You're predisposed to have. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but it means it's in your history.
You have to put what's out there, though. Listen, if you have family history or something, your genetics come like you're highly predisposed for it. You got to watch out for it. Right, that's a double whammy. And we talked about this with Dr. Doringer a little bit about family history with doctors. The same doctor was with all the families. They knew all the family history, and family history has a huge part to play in how we are healthy, how we get healthy, how we stay healthy, what makes us healthy. But that's kind of a lost art now because everyone's moving around, and family histories and medical histories are all over the place, and.
Yeah.
So all you out there, keep track of your medical history and your family history and all that jazz. It's very important to have.
Yeah, medical history. So, okay, Cool. So all this information, you're putting together this amazing program. How many pages roughly?
30.
About 30 pages of personalized data.
Yeah, we got biometrical assessments. We've got workouts, recovery. We've got your blood tests. We've got your nutrition. We've got supplementation, mind and body.
We got nutrition, I think yours.
Yes, and then we have cardiovascular, immune system, and cancer risk. All
About 30 pages long.
Yeah, each one of those has like a specific listen, this is what we recommend you do, whether that's diet or workouts, all the way to key takeaways. That's where a big of the chunk of it comes out. We also want to stimulate you guys learning as you do this too. It's like, well, why do we program like this? Why did they write this way? Well, because this fat burning variant is missing, so we needed to do more of this, right? So there's a lot more in there than just like telling you what to do. It's also explaining why and hopefully teaching you how to live a better lifestyle instead of just hoping you live on the program, which never works.
Yeah, no, great point. I want to add in one thing there with for the key takeaways. When I'm doing the biomechanical assessment and somebody has an injury, sorry about that. Somebody has an injury, maybe it's around the shoulder or their back. There's going to be keynotes that I'm going to put in there too, as far as, hey, here's where the restriction is. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Here, your lower back, you injured it. Your spinal muscles or the erector spinae, we can get fancy and start talking about all these little muscles if we want to. But your back started hurting from repetitive stress. What caused it was an inefficiency in your anterior hip mobility, which means ability for your hips to tilt forward. After that injury, and then we can go into further depth about like why this injury came. That kind of draws a better picture. From there, then we give a treatment plan, right? So then it goes into 4 to 6 months, and then it goes training notes. You're going to have training notes. You're going to have 4 to 6 months. We're going to be doing these protocols. So all that's going into this program. What is the significance of these programs in the industry now, knowing that no one's putting these together or hasn't quite yet, knowing that what is the significance of this? How is this going to change people's health, and how is this going to change the industry?
Well, imagine you have a blank canvas, right? And each color represents a different type of wellness, whether that's training being red or what. Let's just say training being red, and all you have is that color red, and all you do is training, and you expect to make a picture out of just a canvas in red, right? You have to add other colors and actually understand the true picture of this person before you can make the painting. Right, nutrition being green, you have blues being recovery, right? Now you're getting a picture together of what someone needs to look. This picture of what this person needs to look like and what they need to do, right? Imagine being limited on colors for a painter, and that's what trainers and nutritionists and all these other people go into every day without, and they only get one section.
Wow!
Right? They're not getting the full picture. So you're going in half cocked all the time. And a lot of these times you end up frustrated. I know a lot of you guys are frustrated, upset with the industry, upset with Western medicine and all this other stuff. And it's because they don't have a full picture.
It's like Dr. I'm going to mention his name a lot. What a cool dude.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Shout out to Eric, Dr. Eric Doringer. I mentioned him a lot because it was just a fantastic conversation. But we're not against drugs, and I think I speak for you when I say this. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're not against drugs and medication. In fact, sometimes those are in surgery. Sometimes those things happen. But those are what we want to go to last.
I agree.
Right? Totally.
Oh yeah, I mean what he said about his 6 steps. The last step. Listen, we don't. That's our last resort. We don't want to have to cut you open. And any of that kind of stuff. We'd rather try, holistically what we need to do first. And that's something you're great at with this biomechanical assessment. It's understanding these people's problems internally and mechanically, how they're working with it, and how to get them on a good plan, and to show them those steps. And then I'm trying to do the same thing with their habits and nutrition and supplementation and sleep and stress, and trying to get these people in the right state of mind and well-being. And when you add those two together, you come up with a really powerful picture.
Yeah.
Right. A really powerful, detailed picture. I mean, even you and I going through this program, every time we're inputting some new data and stuff like that, we're like, yo, just geek out, just geek out so hard. And it's the reason being is because, our guys, our goal here, whether this is podcast, a business, just our life's mission is to help people. And do the right thing, and with this program, man, we can get it pretty dialed in.
Yeah,
we can get it dialed in, and this is going to be the future of what you guys, whether you guys get on board now or later, it's going to happen. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, you see it from every industry now. Even doctors are trying to figure out ways to do this, which is really, it's heartening. It kind of makes you feel like, oh man, you're definitely on the right track. I want to sidetrack and go down the childhood athletics and prehab. So you're working right now on a huge program for a football team that may have upwards of 50 kids. Tell us a little bit about any parents listening right now may have youngsters. Maybe they're 8, maybe they're 7, 9, maybe they're even entering high school. They're choosing sports. Maybe they're going to play in high school. Maybe they're going to play in college. How is what you're doing? How are you approaching this? And how's this going to help and benefit a kid maybe wanting to go into football, getting a genetic test, getting blood work, and just kind of how's that going to affect him in a good way?
It's the same thing as before, really. It's understanding a better picture of your child, the needs your child may have, and the future needs your child may have, right? And again, understanding that picture is how we're able to present ourselves, right? So with this better picture, whether your kid's 5 going into volleyball or 12 going into football, it doesn't really matter. Understanding that your kid may be susceptible to sunspots, right? May be susceptible to ACL and Achilles injuries, right? So what we can do is we can program these things early on in your childhood's program. Like, hey, we're gonna do some pliability work with knee work. We'll do some band work. Again, I don't really do weight training with kids until like 10, 11. Like band work and other resistance is fine.
Sure.
But being able to pre-program in is going to keep the longevity of the children in sports. It's going to have their happiness increase too, because they'll actually be able to increase their performance, knowing how to train, how to eat, right? So it's for me, this is really going to change the well-being of kids' sports and hopefully kids' health overall.
There's also a piece too that you mentioned as well, and with this biomechanical assessment with kids too, and coupling that with the genetics, almost there's a piece where we start to make recommendations on what sports they may be best at.
Yeah, I mean, some people that are predisposed not to have a bunch of mass, might not be great for football. I mean, listen, what do you cornerback or whatnot? But typically they're still big boys. That way they can also find what works best for them too. They might not enjoy the sport they're in because it's hard for them to do it. They might not have the side to side movement for football. They might want to do lacrosse, or that might fit them better, and understanding how to train for each one too, to make sure that these kids stop getting so frustrated on themselves. These practices are hard. You went through it.
Yeah, sure. I love football. I just was not built for it.
Well, even with
my favorite sport.
Even with the baseball training with your dad.
Yes.
You went through it, how strenuous it was, and okay, I'm gonna flip this on you real quick too. Is like
tough,
imagine, go back to little Bret, and imagine that you and your dad had this test. What would that be like for you guys training?
I mean, it'd just be a tool, like an additional tool to bring in, take out the guesswork, and just picturing like a packet of completely personalized information on like my abilities and where I'm great, where I'm not so great at, and then how I can use that. It would be huge for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just all that frustration and
for instance, he put me in Excel. This was back in 1990. Was I 1996. He put me in something called acceleration training. I wasn't very fast. I was not the fastest on the team. I was very quick. So first 5 yards, I'd beat everybody, and then I was slow. So he put me in acceleration training. And acceleration training was this thing where everything was on speed. I mean, they had a high-speed treadmill that went 26 miles an hour. They had everything. And so I did this acceleration training. Did I get faster? No, I did not. And I was going every day, or 3 days a week, or 4 days a week, whatever it was. I was going every day before school at 5 a.m. So I'd wake up and this was in middle school, I'd go train at 5 a.m. and then I'd go to school after 5 a.m. And so I'm, sweating. And my point is, like, I didn't get faster. I might have incrementally, but you can't change. If you're not built to be a sprinter, there's only so much you can change. And that goes into me for body typing too, is like, if you bring me a picture in of someone you want to look like, I'm going to be honest and be like, do you have the same bone structure? Just sometimes, yes. Okay, great. And sometimes it's like, you're just not going to look like this person. It's not your body type. And that goes for women too, like women who look at other women that are very skinny, like, hats off to somebody who looks, especially women, in great shape. Hats off to you. Keep up. Great job. But there are bigger women who will never look like you, and they're still healthy, right? They're still, but they're just their bones. Maybe they're 5'10". Maybe have a lot more muscle mass than you. They're not going to look like you'll never. But that's a good thing, right? The industry tries to tell you it's a bad thing. Everybody needs to be skinny. Everybody needs to have that thigh gap. That's not what women should look like. There's a whole spectrum. So it kind of goes into, accepting who you are as a person genetically and optimizing that to the best of your ability.
And go back and watch our episode on the truth about the scale.
Ooh, yeah, that was a good one.
There's some good information about what Bret just said on that podcast. Highly recommend going back and listening to that if you haven't already.
For sure.
We preach a different type of wellness here. The weight on the scale does not dictate your health by any means. So anyone out there that is slave to the scale, break those chains, because that's not dictating how healthy you are. Go get some blood work done, go get your hormones done, go do it right, and actually have like real qualitative data on what your health is instead of just the weight.
There's one. So as we kind of get to the end of this episode, and we kind of wrap up this really cool comprehensive program that people are going to be able to get when they come to Ascend Performance Training. Any final thoughts on this program and where it's going, or just in general around this episode to leave the viewers with something great to digest?
I want to challenge the viewers today, or the listeners today. I want you to start asking more questions to your health professionals. Start asking questions. Why am I taking this pill? Why am I on this fitness program? Why am I eating this? I want you to start asking questions because, listen, the information out there is typically garbage, okay? And it's time for all of us as a people to self-educate because the government's not going to help us get out of this epidemic of health. It's up to us, right? It's up to us. So ask questions. That's my challenge for the week.
I love that. That is so good. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us. As always, we love and appreciate your support. Every time you like and rate and comment and subscribe to this podcast, it means that we grow a little bit bigger and our message gets spread a little bit farther. We are on an absolute mission to take these programs to the next level. Tripp has been working his butt off around the clock, training and putting these programs together, his heart and soul into this. And we are just very grateful for every share, every like, every comment, subscribe. Thank you to the new listeners. We've added some new states that have joined us. I want to say Idaho, and gosh, oh no, I'm forgetting.
You got it. You got it.
What was the second one? Idaho and
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it's on the brain. Well,
Maine.
Maine. There we go. I know.
Sorry, I wasn't gonna steal your thunder like that, man. But.
No, you can steal the thunder anytime. Thank you so much for the new listeners joining us. Stick with us because we have we're booked out for guests for the next few weeks.
Yep.
Couple of doctors on. We got a couple of specialists. We have some elite athletes that are going to be joining us, and so everything health and wellness we're going to bring to you. Incredible people who are all on their own mission. And we're going to put this all in one platform, which is the Health or High Water podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have an amazing day. Go do something positive and make an impact in other people's lives today. And remember, if you want more information, please go to ascendperformancetraining.com, fill out a form, send it to your friend, family member, whoever. We also do online training as well. If you are not in the Denver area, we still love to get connected with you, do virtual sessions, and help you online, and we can even write nutritional programs. So have a great day, take care, and make it count.
Yeah, and also go buy our book.
And go buy Tripp's book, The Health Profiling Everything Fitness Guide.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon and Kindle. It is rated R.
It is not for the faint of heart. Yeah, it's definitely rated R.
All right. Take care. Have a great day. Peace.